this year, my aunt sent me a couple of calendars, and one was a beautiful Judicial Watch Calendar of Norman Rockwell. And it was really nice. It shows pictures of Americana. It's part of what it is to be American. It's part of what it is to be free, and the freedom we fight for, and the freedom we want to preserve. It's really just the simple things of life. We're just fighting to preserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Just peace and contentment, and just families. They have their kids, they have their school, fun, jobs, just family life. We're fighting to preserve that, and preserve it so they don't have to have fear of being bombed or shot or attacked. We're trying to eliminate these crimes and threats and everything that come up in society, and just make it so people can live in peace and harmony and enjoy life. So the Judicial Watch really does a great job. It's amazing. I just saw a video the other day that they found out there were 1.5 million voters in Los Angeles alone that were dead or off the rolls. So to those of us, we think, oh, there goes 1.5 million of the 2 million votes that Hillary was supposed to have won by, the popular vote by. And the Judicial Watch is working very hard to find fraudulent voters in different states, and they do a lot of good. We need more organizations like Judicial Watch, because these politicians are crooks, and they won't obey the law unless there's somebody there forcing them to obey the law. That's bottom line. So we need more legal organizations like that. And so we're just going to flip through this calendar and just savor the peace, the beauty, contentment of what freedom means in action. Okay. January. The New American La France is here, 1971. Born in New York City, Norman Rockwell lived in New York, Vermont, and Massachusetts. This new fire truck has arrived at the firehouse in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. The Rockwells moved to Stockbridge in 1953, and the artist would live there until his death in 1978. February. Family Grace, 1938. Many of Rockwell's best-known works acknowledge our nation's deep ties to both religious faith and religious freedom. As Americans, we have the right to express our faith freely, without interference from government or other institutions. March. Grissom and Young Suiting Up, 1965. Rockwell traveled to Florida in March 1965 to observe astronauts Gus Grissom and John Young prepare for the first launch of the Gemini program, when 2 astronauts were launched into space. Grissom and 2 other astronauts died tragically in a 1967 fire during a pre-launch test for the Apollo 1 mission. Young walked on the moon in 1972 as commander of the Apollo 16 mission. April. Couple Playing Billiards, 1920. Although Rockwell is best known for his many cover illustrations for the Saturday Evening Post, by the 1920s his work was also being featured in other prominent magazines of the day, including Literary Digest, Country Gentleman, Leslie's Weekly, and Life. May. Under the Mistletoe, 1919. Although only 25 when he painted this illustration, Rockwell was already exhibiting his skills at portraying tender and heartwarming family scenes that would become a hallmark of his long and successful career. June. Let's Give Him Enough and On Time, 1942. Rockwell served as a military artist in the U.S. Navy during World War I. During World War II, much of his work focused on uniting the nation behind the war effort, at home and abroad. July. Freedom of Speech Study, 1943. Inspired by President Roosevelt's Four Freedoms speech, Rockwell revised the freedom of speech painting over several months, experimenting with different vantage points. This is one of the studies he worked on for freedom of speech. It celebrates Americans' rights to participate in our democracy and to express ourselves. Rights Judicial Watch has fought to uphold since 1994. August. 2 Old Men and a Dog. The Catch, 1950. Rockwell's illustrations showed a deep sense of the rhythms of American life, including its ups and downs. He sometimes addressed serious issues confronting his fellow citizens, and other times takes a more light-hearted view of life's disappointments, like an embarrassingly unsuccessful fishing trip. September. His first day at school, 1950. Rockwell effectively captures a mother's affection, a son's anxiety, and a father's pride in what is universally considered a red-letter day in every American family. October. Grandpa and Me Raking Leaves, 1948. The Grandpa and Me series was one of Rockwell's most popular subjects, highlighting here the special bond of a grandfather and grandson as they go about accomplishing typical daily tasks. November. Cousin Reginald Catches a Thanksgiving Turkey, 1917. Cousin Reginald made many appearances in Rockwell's illustrations, frequently in challenging situations. As a magazine illustrator, amidst the horrors of World War I, Rockwell knew that his readers wanted to laugh as well as be informed. December. Jolly Postman, 1949. Rockwell perfectly captures children's excitement at the postman's visit as Christmas Day approaches. Judicial Watch wishes you and those close to you a wonderful holiday season and a very Merry Christmas. Hope you've enjoyed looking at freedom and thinking about why we fight for freedom, why we fight for peace and beauty and free from want, free from fear, why we fight for these things. And this calendar is a beautiful reminder. Okay, let freedom ring.